Marin this start? Welcome to Constant Struggle. I'm Nick Watson.
And I'm Bree Watson. And we have a very special, wonderful guest today on our podcast. We're talking to Jess Grant, improviser. I was going to say galore, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Extraordinaire
There you go.
is the word I'm looking for. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Jess, okay, so this is how I first met you and heard of you.
Okay.
I hadn't, I don't think I'd seen you perform at all. And then I started performing in a troupe that focused on the 1950s. And somebody was like, Jess Grant should be our coach. And I was like, I don't know who that is. And then you came and coached a couple times before going to Chicago.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Not really. What was the name of the
They
troupe?
were called 50 Shades of 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember
That's
that.
amazing.
I have a really bad memory.
You gave us a really great intro, and then we fell apart.
Oh,
Not
no.
your fault, not your fault.
What did we work on?
So, it was just so we could have, kind of a set way to begin our set, almost. So we worked on, physical, like an introduction where we all came in, we were, from the 50s and had cigarettes.
Bree's holding up her fingers there to
Yeah.
indicate smoking.
Yeah.
The international sign of
You can't see
50s.
that, but I'm holding a fake cigarette.
It's good space work. Is that what that?
Object work.
Okay,
Close,
cool.
yeah. And anyway,
Yeah.
and then you left for Chicago almost immediately after, so it doesn't surprise
crap.
me. Yeah, not crap. You don't have to feel bad about
No,
it.
Chicago's a nice place to
It
visit.
was. Yeah. But what is nice about not having a good memory is when you tell me the advice I gave, I'm like, that is sound advice. I stand behind it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, good. Okay. That is what I would have done.
Yeah, it was a way to kick because we didn't know how to get this show going.
Yes.
And you gave us a song to come into, and then we came on and did a pose, and then, and then we got our suggestion, and then kind of anyway,
You need a ritual.
Yeah. Oh, ritual. Yeah. So that's what that was. And
Man, that's good creative advice for anything, actually.
It is,
Needing
isn't
a
it?
ritual, yeah.
Yeah.
Writing. And
Yeah,
just
for
getting
sure
into
writing.
it.
Just something that gets your butt in the chair to get her going.
Get in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No.
Well, you found the person who's gonna get one for you.
Yeah, no, okay, well, for me, it's just I'm in a position where I gotta cram my writing into wherever I can.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I have the time to do a ritual. I'm just
That's true.
Your ritual is your regular day.
Yeah, but if it's your day job, then yeah, that would be amazing. I've heard other creative people talk about their daily morning routines and stuff like that, and they sound amazing.
Yeah, they do.
It's I get up, I have my cup of coffee, do my morning pages, maybe go a walk around Central Park just to feel like I'm a writer, and I'm like, oh God!
Yeah, exactly.
You shut
Yeah.
up. And
You're
then I write a script for Billions.
Yeah, and you're like, I sneak into the bathroom.
Yeah.
The door.
I write on toilet paper and try not to flush it.
Yeah.
Oh no, another one!
Also good object work on that one.
Oh, I threw my toilet paper out behind me. So Jess, how did you, you're an improviser.
Yeah.
You teach improv.
I do.
And you do a lot of physical stuff. Where does the physical come from?
I really, when I was really hooking in improv, super obsessed with it, I
heard Hogkin. I'm sorry. I was just
yeah.
hang on, let's be.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I haven't totally ruled it out. I really became enamored with this one improviser from Chicago named Jet Eveleth. And she was very focused on physical improv and physicality, finding a character from your physicality, and that really clicked for me because I find when I improvise, if I'm very focused on my thoughts, trying to come up with the right line, I get overwhelmed and I don't have a lot of fun.
Right.
But if I come at it from a physicality, then I feel like
you're playing more.
Exactly, yeah. I'm playing more. I feel a bit different from myself, and then this character, I start rooting for this character in a certain way, or understanding their point of view, and that I find that is a physicality for me is my favorite entry point into a character. Even if it's not like doing something different with my spine, even if it's just the way I sit in a chair, that will influence.
What goes first? Do you just like, I'm going to do it like this, and then you're like, well, what does this mean about the character? Or,
wow,
okay.
Exactly. Like if I'm leaning on a chair, if I'm leaning or have my legs crossed, I'll be like, how can I exaggerate this in some way? So I might like cross my hands over my knee, and then I'm like, oh, this is like a protective stance. Oh, maybe this is a character that's fearful of whoever they're with.
And are you typically the person who like initiates the scene, or do you, or have you noticed one way or another?
I don't, but I should.
I
think as a default position I have as an improviser that I'm always kind of working with, always have, is like, I just want to make everybody happy. So I'm like, what do you want the scene to be? So out of habit, I will not initiate, but I think I try to remind myself to get the first line in,
right?
Because then that's opening up my imagination first, or getting my imagination perspective out there first. Yeah. So that's something I work on,
and that's helpful for other people too. If they walk in and they don't quite have their thing figured out yet, and you're like, you got your stance.
Yeah, and I can see it. Yeah. I try to speak to what I see in my imagination as quick as I can.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Nick's not an improviser, he's a writer, so I'll probably ask more like of the improv questions.
Yeah, that's kind of how this has been working.
Yeah. But then sometimes you have like...
I bring the point of view of not knowing anything about improv, so I was like, how does that work? So
yeah.
Because before the podcast started, we were talking about Second City, and I was always fascinated because they seem to always forget how they run their sketches. And
like at the downstairs.
Yeah, the downstairs main stage show.
You're just like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it's like it's improv, but it's a sketch.
Right.
Sketchprov.
Yeah. Oh, now do we have to talk about it now?
I think we've talked about it on this podcast before, and
I'm just refer back to those episodes where we talked about
how Second City does their
process.
We're at Second City right now as well, for those scoring at home.
Another one down at the training center. But in the cozy office this time, or meeting room.
Lounge.
Yeah, I thought it was a lounge. Anyway, Jess, how did you? I want to know how you got into it. Or like, how long have you been doing improv? How did you get into it?
I did short form improv at University at Mount Allison.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that I got into
you went to Mount A. I'm gonna stop you right there. We're gonna dig into Mount A a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
What did you take at Mount A?
I studied English as a major and drama and women's studies as a minor.
Oh, that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was like obsessed with the theater there. Like I kind of didn't do the work I was supposed to do. Because I just wanted to go to shows. Yeah. Do shows.
Where's Mount Allison? Out east?
Yeah, it's in Sackville, New Brunswick. I'm from New Brunswick originally.
I think two buds who went to Mount A. Certainly one went on to be a fucking Rhodes Scholar. Anyway.
They're always churning out those Rhodes Scholars.
At Mount Allison? Okay. What is it about that school? Is it very like artistic? Is it very like what's...
It was when I went there, yeah. I think it's more sciencey now, but when I went there it was very arts focused.
And did you go there for theater? Were you a big theater kid in high school and that kind of stuff?
No, I come from like a small town. Their high school had like no arts, like nothing. It was like it was the bare bones of education. Right. So
you're gonna be a fisherman, so what's the kind of
you're gonna basically. So I went on the Rotary Exchange after high school. Okay. And loved it.
Where'd you go?
I went to South Africa.
Oh, cool!
For a year,
nice.
Yeah. So that was awesome because that was like small town living. Then suddenly, like, pow, like international.
Where were you in South Africa? Like,
I was in Pretoria.
Yeah.
And then got to travel all around. So then when I came home, I was ready to sort of be closer to my family, but I wanted to go to university. I hadn't really enjoyed high school, but I kind of didn't know what else to do. So I was like, I'll go to university. I'll see if I like it. Went to Mount A, loved it.
Oh, cool.
And then my friend I made in dorm was like, let's check out the different groups. Because they had like a night where you could go and...
like club night.
Club night.
Yeah.
So I went to she's like, let's check out this improv thing. And I was like, I didn't even know what that was. And immediately when I got there, like, all the people that were running it were very jokey. So you would go and do a workshop.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't get over the workshop. Like, I couldn't get over how, like, I was always kind of the funny friend, like the shy, funny person in my group of friends. And I couldn't get over how I connected with these people that ran the group. Who are, and one of them is, or a couple of them are, like, still my best friends.
Nice.
And it was just, like, awesome. I don't know. That feeling of belonging, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd always kind of had to try to fit in. And I didn't have to there. I could just like, open up.
Yeah. Cool. What?
That's so nice.
Yeah. So I got obsessed with theater there. Moved to Toronto thinking I was going to just dive into the world of theater. But then found myself very kind of nervous and overwhelmed by it all. And through...
Which is great for theater.
Yeah, which is exactly...
Really use that. Fear.
Yeah. Well, and I was getting frustrated because I was, like, working, but I wasn't auditioning. Like, I didn't know how to get in.
Ugh, yep.
So, and then I found... at the Inpatient Theater Company.
Okay.
Which no longer exists.
Yeah.
But that's where I was like, oh, they do, what is long form improv? I'd only done short form.
Right.
And that's, once I started at this place, at Inpatient, that's when I got really hooked. And just got into the whole community, yeah. Because then it was like, if improv at Mount A was like a little town, the improv community in Toronto was like a whole, I couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
Like,
half the city is improvising.
Yeah, and it just that you could go every night of the week almost and like see your favorite people.
This is the one we talked about, Nick, that existed for a while and then doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
because of some problems with leadership and
yeah. But I don't know if you've ever had this experience where there's like a bad leader, but there's something in that leader that pulls together really good people. So it was like everyone that was a part of Inpatient was awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the one guy that was running it was like things were a bit shady.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was the thing about that company was you could get on teams and you perform once a week.
Nice.
Guaranteed stage time. So that was the real draw of that.
Did you play like? Did they had a stage and stuff there as well? Because I went to the Inpatient for one class. This was my experience with the Inpatient. I took a level 1 intro to improv, and I was like, I've already done an intro to improv, but I got a group on, so I was like, I'll do it, and I didn't want to start from like the beginning. And I was like, second of all, I'm in Toronto. If I'm gonna do improv, I'm gonna do it at the second city, and that was it. And then I found out the Inpatient like crumbled, and I was like, oh. Well.
Yeah, I think when there was Groupon time, it was getting close to the end. The thing that was attractive about it, if you were already doing Second City or Bad Dog, well, it was the weekly shows if you got a team, but also the focus on the Herald, so it was kind of this more artistic way of looking at improv. Yeah. It wasn't looking at improv to get to sketch, which has been Second City's focus. It was more just improv for improv's sake. And you could also like, it was really like on the outskirts, so you could like swear, you could do weird stuff, you know, you could give birth to aliens and everything, and everyone was kind of like okay with it. Because I think even Bad Dog, I don't know, I wasn't around Bad Dog much at that time, but I think they were kind of geared a bit to family, like, as I understood it. So this was kind of, there was like a punk rock feel about Inpatient. That was really fun.
Do you think that still exists? Has it, the punk rock, do you think the Assembly has taken over that, or?
It could be. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's too early to tell.
A little too early to tell.
Yeah.
But but the thing I love about the Assembly is just how all those people want to learn Herald.
Yeah. Yeah, it's surprising that it's surprising and not surprising that it stopped being taught at Second City. And also, and that they don't do it more often at Bad Dog even. Like, I've been waiting for months and months to sign up for their Herald one. Because I did the long form program here, and I'm just like, I want, no, like, because here it was like, ooh, you learn this form, you learn Herald, then you learn this form. I was like, no, rewind. I want to go back and just, like, do Herald forever.
Yeah. And that, I think, my feeling is it takes a team a year of just going through the paces of a Herald before. It's really something that's got to get in your bones, like instinctual. And
you got to get used to working with the people and trusting the people that you're going to work with and earning their trust.
And kind of deciding collectively what you like and what your feel is like. And that's a beautiful experience to work on a team with those kind of goals. And the same coach if you have that opportunity. Yeah. For a full year.
I want to do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'd love it if the improv coach dressed like a 1950s sports coach. Like towel, gray jumpsuit on, maybe a sweatband.
Yeah.
A whistle and a clipboard.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
All right, improvisers.
Yeah. Get to it.
When did you start teaching improv?
Oh, I can't even remember. I don't know how long I've been an inpatient, but I started teaching there.
Okay.
And it was really fun. I basically at that time was just like regurgitating exercises I'd learned from different teachers. And I was trying to get to Chicago. I didn't do the intensive at Improv Olympic, but I was trying to do workshops anytime I could. That was the other great thing about Impatient was the guy that was running it would bring people from LA and Chicago to do workshops with us. Minneapolis.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Joe Bernard.
Yeah. Why don't they do that anymore? Or not Impatient.
That sounds like that would be expensive to do.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's But I think it was a nice time because all those people were kind of just excited to come somewhere else to teach.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So there were a whole bunch of styles, and so it was really great to try to put everything together of what I'd learned and teach through them. And then when they went downhill, I kind of stopped teaching, and then got into, they needed teachers for the long form program here at Second City. So I talked to Rob Norman. He got me in, and then just from there I sort of started getting into the A&E part.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so you said you went to Chicago. You were there for a little bit, weren't you? Like, did you move there for a bit? Or
I did. I went there not for improv, but it was a theater program. Okay. It was like a physical theater program.
Oh, cool.
And it was like 6 months of 2013, 6 months of 2014.
Okay.
Something like that. Or 2014, 2015. But yeah. Yeah,
Was that the cold 6 months or the warm 6 months?
It was the cold one. The first year was the super cold one, yeah. It was even hard to fly in there. Yeah. But it was like, the classes were held at this gigantic circus gym that had this huge sky blue pad. Like, it was like a gym size thing. So you could do backflips and somersaults and all this jazz. So we just had school there every day, and we made plays and did characters, and it was awesome.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a circus gym. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed.
There's one here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, is it still open? The Center of Gravity or whatever?
The Center of Gravity, yeah. And then there's one up on DuPont somewhere, too.
We have multiple circus gyms.
In Toronto.
Wow. All right.
The one I really like I only went once to the Center of Gravity one that where all the lunacy shows happen.
Yeah.
And I love it because I'm like a big fan of like old movie theaters, and that used to be an old movie theater for sure. Maybe, I don't know if it was vaudeville, but definitely movie, because, like, anyway, as soon as you get in, like, it's painted all circusy now, which is cool.
Yeah.
But as soon as you walk in, they've got this, like, giant old projector, which they for sure use, anyway. And I used to be a projectionist, so I'm like, I nerd out on the projection.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Anyway. And then, they've got stuff, like, it has to be a building that's, like, tall enough so you can, like, hang shit off the rafters and stuff. And
from, like, a trapeze or something? Or
like,
and aerial.
What's the thing with and silks?
Yeah, aerial.
Is that aerial? Yeah, that makes sense. Did you do any of that kind of stuff over there, or
no? It was more like there was a clown. There was like a focus on clown.
That's super appropriate.
Yeah. which is really good. And that all just helped out with my improv performance because it really got me like, clown is so much like if what you're doing isn't working and is falling flat, you got to do something else really quick and keep a strong connection to the audience. Yeah. And when I came back to Toronto and was improvising after that, it was like, yeah, I loved it. I loved improv even more. I think that's what's great about it is that it always, it's not a moneymaker, it can be a money drainer, but it is always there for you to satisfy that artistic side of yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's an unreal, because I sometimes like reject it. Like I'm like, I'm done with this. This isn't giving me, and I've given so much to improv and it doesn't give me enough back. But it really, it does. It at certain times in my life, it definitely has. I've been like so grateful for it. It's unreal.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like, what is this ridiculous thing, you know?
Yeah,
like, and then,
well, I gotta just stay home and watch Netflix.
Yeah. And then you do a scene and it's like so magical. You're like,
I can't get over it. And it goes back actually to like doing those workshops at Mount A where I like, you say something off the cuff and people are like, exactly. I can never get over that. It is very culty. Like, as someone that doesn't do improv, doesn't it seem like a cult?
Well, I don't know. I think I've been so close to it. It's like, yes, this is all I hear from improv. This is how much it's, I see it more as a form of therapy. Like, and I keep seeing that pop up. I don't know, because we've had people who've talked about it.
On the show,
Like, Catherine's done it to do career improvement. Yeah. But I think she had people in her class who were doing it as therapy.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them are like, I want to break out of my shell. I don't know.
Yeah, there's that. And I saw BBC had a story this week about it.
Yeah, good old Cam Allen.
Yeah.
So, it does have magical properties just to get people interacting with other people.
Yeah, it does.
And then just your description of doing the physical stuff that, you know, improv is always talked about as play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was listening to another podcast about how playing is super important for adults. And it's not just for kids, it's part of development. And basically, in our society, there's no room for it.
Right,
like if you're at work or at a bank, you're not like a tagger. You know, there's no physicality. Everything's buttoned down and reserved.
Yeah, down to like what you're wearing. Down to you like. I remember being in the office and I would just be like uncomfortable. I'd be like, how come I have to wear like this skirt and this? But I'm at a desk all day. Nobody could see, you know, like I'm a reception, you know, like I'm doing administrative work. Why am I wearing, you know, why am I wearing a skirt? I'm not going out on the towel anyway. And it's just like, I'm at a desk, I'm fucking freezing. Like, what am I doing here?
Agreed.
If that, and then even improv, I'm like, stretchy pants, because we're gonna be moving around. When people come in from like work and they're wearing their suits and stuff, I'm like, you're doing this wrong.
Like a yoga outfit.
Very happy for like
those leg warmer things from the 80s would probably be great.
Gray sweatsuit.
Sweatband. No, totally.
Yeah, it really opens up your creativity, which I feel like after a certain point in your life, you're like, well, you're an adult now. Playtime's over. Yeah. You only enjoy.
But then I think there's a shift in our way of thinking these days of like, you know, back in the day in the West anyway, it was like you know, you finish school, and you get married, you get a job, you stay in that job,
and you die,
and you're gonna get a pension.
Right.
Yeah, and then then you'll have a heart attack and you'll die. Yeah. But now we're kind of approaching things differently. Yeah. There's no more pensions. So it's like, and people want sorry, but people want more quality in their life. So.
It's like we're here, we might as well enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Where that was never like, what, enjoy? No, work hard. I guess now in Western, though, where we're in a position where, you know, we're not being hunted by animals and predators.
Right.
There currently isn't constant war here.
No.
So yeah, we can afford to chill out and have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the day, they used to kids used to be sent to work at 8 or 9 or 10.
Yeah, I guess there was no reason for that actually.
Play is people were miserable up until pretty recently.
Yeah. It's funny, 5 years ago, I was seeing a therapist and I was complaining about how there's no money in improv. And she was talking about she was right. But she was like, I'll tell you a little inside tip. She was talking. A lot of her clients were young adults who had issues on their phones, and starting relationships on their phones. But when they met people in person, they had a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh.
So she said, "I think there's going to be a place for improv down the road."
For sure.
And I was like, "Great." And I'm like,
"Marketing
totally right.
strategy."
Yeah. I think she's right.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Already, how many people do you know or do you meet who are oh, I'm awkward, I can't talk I can't talk to people.
But everyone. But that's because you hang out here a lot, and I hang out with writers. So
So they say they're awkward.
Writers love.
No one talks to anybody.
No, writers have it rough that way. They're alone.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I do it.
Any of my writer friends
Everybody leave me alone!
Yeah.
Finally. And then everyone has fun together.
Yeah.
No, there is that, but then it's so much fun getting out, meeting other people. I didn't go to Ink Drinks last night.
Oh no! Why not?
I didn't want to go and see loads of other people.
Yeah.
No, it was family night
Sometimes
last night. We were playing video games and eating pizza. It was pretty great.
Nice. Yeah, family is a way. That's socializing too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family weekend, family
It
day
is, family
weekend.
day Oh yeah, well I guess recently I did a very fun workshop with you. Maybe we could talk about that.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I still haven't filled out the feedback form. I'm sorry.
This counts. Just submit this podcast.
Yeah.
For my feedback, please listen to minute whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
you gotta edit it anyway,
Yeah.
so it won't be the accurate time. So we did that really awesome workshop that was geared just for women, which was the Jess Grant.
I'll step out of the room now.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
Just girl.
Which was so fun. Had you done that before, or was that your
Never.
first time? Oh,
First
okay,
time,
cool.
yeah. And I just had was it just was stuff when I was teaching I would want to talk about, but then be like, oh, there's no time.
Right.
This isn't on the curriculum or what have you. And so, but just was I wonder if people would be interested in this. Or I just mostly wanted to talk about what was going on with.
And were you approached, or did you suggest? Or
I suggested it
cool.
to the assembly as something to do. And Martha, the assembly leader, was into it and put it all together, which is great because that's the stuff I'm not good at. If you want to talk about the artist life, I'm not good at producing at all. I'm really good at dreaming of stuff, and then if someone, so I always find it magical when how you produce stuff. When someone's we're just gonna do X, Y, Z, and bam, it's done, and we're rolling, and I'm always ooh. It's
and
exciting.
then you still don't get any money out of it, but at least you feel like you're doing something. I was gonna say on the note of the whole culty nature of it being Martha, the assembly leader, doesn't really help with the shaking that vibe. No, it reinforces it.
Well, maybe if somebody was making money out of it, it would be a cult.
Yeah.
Right?
We're crying out loud, I guess.
Right. We're in the rental space in Toronto, downtown.
Yeah.
But giant well-lit theater. Complete with couch.
Yeah. And this, I feel any of my friends would be you bleeding heart to hear me say this. But there's something I love about the fact that you can't really make money from improv. That it's
just so pure.
Well, it's protected somehow. But I mean, then you've got Whose Line Is It Anyway? I don't know. But it's nice. It's just nice.
I mean, they're doing a lot of work for that show. I listen to Greg's podcast, and they're touring all the time.
Yeah.
That must be knackering.
There's so much in your life where you have to think about money. Can I afford this?
Yeah.
Where I just can never get over with improv. I can just go to the theater, do the show. You
don't need to prepare anything. You don't need to make crazy props. It's just looking. My friend does community theater back home, and just the elaborate amount of props they have for
you
such
don't need to do that.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's why did you waste so much time and effort on that? You can have a couple black boxes.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Though. If that's what you want to do, if you want that kind of realism.
But it still doesn't look real. It's on a stage, you know?
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it's the rush of it, I think, too, why you can't really put a price tag on it. It's because the thing that's fun about it, if the show's rocking, it's because the performers are kind of going through a rush, and then the audience is too. I just had one of my classes just did their first show in the theater here at Second City.
Yeah.
And that is so much fun as a teacher, because they're just like, one guy was like, I thought he was going to throw up. And then after, they're all glowing.
Aww.
And it's people who are wearing like the thing they wore to the office that day. You know what I mean? And they're just like, I'm a different person now. I'm like, yes, you are.
You did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
I can make so much money. No. Did you miss that part?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Like, sometimes in my life, there have been times in my life where I've realized how, like, making money isn't the most important thing. So that's where it kind of, improv is nice too, in that realm.
The problem with that is that, and I think it's good to segue into, like, next step, is that in order to eat and live in Toronto, you have to have a certain amount of it.
Yeah.
Right, and most of the time, people will have multiple jobs or whatever the case may be to make ends meet and stuff. And so that's where kind of the idea of our podcast came from, because Nick was working a 9 to 5 at the time. I was working a 9 to 5, and we were trying to fit that in with, like, family time as well as
creative time.
Yeah.
So how do you how do you manage to get it all? What are your struggles in trying to, like, in order to sustain the improv?
Right. Yeah. Well, there's always a gap at the moment of, like, these hours need to be filled with some sort of work, and where's that work going to come from? I've done a lot of, like, contract jobs, like staffing agencies and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Sort of a lot of anything skill I've always been able to sell is just, like, being really good with people and really good with the public.
Right.
So that is I guess the temping. I've done reception as well. And that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought I was just going to work as a receptionist at this ritzy insurance company and then improvise at night, and I was going to be fine. And I was, like, going to be satisfied. And then I kept getting reception jobs, and I kept getting laid off. And I was like, I just want the status quo. Like, can I just be here? And then
for any particular reason, was it like something like behavioral stuff? Or?
It was just
it'd be nice to know that you're going to have enough money to get groceries.
Yeah, but it was just like they would go through a down. The economy was always going through a downswing, so the receptionist is the first person to go.
Right.
Yeah, but
I wanted so badly to get fired from my previous jobs. Like, just let me get some of that EI.
Yeah, it's tough. One of my favorite, I had a class where we were learning Commedia dell'arte, and she was like, she said this thing that I always think about, and she was like, way back in the day, of, like, kings and everything, like, the performers would live in the forest.
Nice.
And then, like, there was, like, only so many days a year where they would come into the city and, like, perform for food and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know, when I look around at artists today, I think so many of us still wish we could be in the forest. That we now have to live kind of with one foot in the forest and one foot in the town.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a part of the thing with the, like, struggle of the 9 to 5, but also working on that art is always, like, there's always this wildness that wants to be unleashed in a lot of creators, to be set free, but there's also these, like, survival responsibilities that have to be attended to.
Well, it seems like that's the case in most places where the biggest creative, where all the money is for creativity to be produced anyway, right? Like
big cities.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's expensive to live. Well, just in Canada, it's expensive to live.
A lot of people to come together to watch your stuff or buy your paintings.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I guess you wouldn't be able to do it you wouldn't be able to sustain it as frequently, like, because some people I know have moved out into the boonies, basically. And they'll put on a show and the whole town will come out, but you wouldn't be able to do that like every night. Whereas in Toronto, every night there's a comedy show and people are coming to it, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. But that is attractive, though, just to have, like, a big show once a month.
Yeah.
Everyone in the town comes and they're like, love you.
Yeah. You're like, did you ever go back home? Do you ever, like, back to...
I try to go back to New Brunswick 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Aww.
I do like it. I like it. I always love kind of looking at Maritimers as, like, people that love to tell stories and crack jokes and stuff like that. So I feel I come by it all, honestly. That's for sure.
Nice.
I get that feeling. Yeah.
I can't tell if you're like waiting
I'm
for
oddly cold and
no.
going through the changes.
Oh.
No, that's
every time you podcast, you get cold.
Kinda.
Every time a microphone turns on, you're like, oh god.
It's weird. It's like, did someone turn on a mic? It just got cold in here.
Get pod chills.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, that's great about the city, I love being home, and I love, like, the open space, and I just feel like the connections you make with people are so genuine. But then I love the city because there's just so much movement, and that's something I've found, like, you know, I kind of have the blues or whatever, and it just really, I get on the subway, and there's so much movement, there's so many different people, and I'm like, like there's the energy out here.
Yeah.
It's great. Plus, there's art that comes in. Like, I really love seeing dance shows and plays. That was another big draw for me to come to the city, was just the accessibility to art.
Yeah.
Is so much.
Yeah, because you won't get that many of those companies coming out east.
Yeah, exactly. So that is something I when the dreams of, like, should I leave Toronto, something I can never give up is that connection to the culture, artistic community here. Yeah.
I love that. Every time there's like a ballet, I'm like, I want to go, and then time passes.
Or like we should go to Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah. Because they got that, and they do it like in High Park, but I think you're in Mississauga. I think they probably do it in like a park in Mississauga too. Like usually if there's a big park, I think there is one in Mississauga.
We should probably look into that.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like it's not too uncommon that a bunch of little, not tiny places, but smaller places will have them too, like probably Hamilton or whatever, you know.
A little Shakespeare in the Park.
It doesn't have to be a fancy production. It's just nice to hear Shakespeare out loud.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. And it's great that it's when it's outside.
Yeah.
I've never
it's
done it.
Unreal.
That must be amazing.
Oh,
that's how it was made back in the day.
Yes.
The globe was open air.
And you start, and and you're in the sunshine, you know, and you're warm, and then as the show goes on, suddenly the lights on the stage come on, and you're like, outside, it's
sounds
great.
amazing. This is all right. It's happening this summer.
And they're doing Midsummer Night's Dream.
I saw Midsummer Night's Dream in.
We should go see it on Midsummer.
Yeah. I saw it. Okay, this was so great in Liverpool, which because Pam was out there.
Yep.
In Liverpool, there's this gigantic cathedral, and right beside it is this like super old cemetery that goes like down some stairs, and it's all dirt and grass covered and stuff, and then there's like a little plain. I don't know where all the cemetery is. Yeah. And they did a production there, and it was so spooky and cool. Wow. And it was like it was summer. It was the middle of summer.
Yeah.
It's like I'll remember that more than going to Stratford. No offense to Stratford, it's a nice building.
Oh, I remember Stratford sticks out in my mind. That was the first time I saw like Shakespeare.
Have you only seen it gone?
I only went the once.
Yeah, I saw a couple, and the only one I remember is like Paul Gross with Hamlet.
I just remember seeing spit.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of spit.
Yeah, like to project, you really have to.
Yeah.
I think they're referring to the spittle. Like, you get to the back rows. That's the whole yay.
I do a lot of that in improv. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I do. I love it. I'm like, this is real.
That just happened.
Something, a question I have actually for you guys in the podcast you've done.
How this works.
Wait a minute.
Shut it off.
Is the whole, I guess something that I always kind of, when I get the blues about being an artist, is the thing of and talking about money is how, like, what I hear my friends talk about is, am I supposed to be making so much money off of the art to call myself an artist?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
How do you come by the definition? You know what I mean?
Well, that's huge. I'll field this one, Bray, if you don't mind.
Please do.
Well, for writing, the amount of times where I struggle to call myself a writer because it feels like bullshit. I've never been paid for anything.
Yeah.
You gotta power through that, because what I do every day, or try to do every day, is write something. So that's what makes you a writer.
Yeah.
If you're trying
do the noun, be the verb.
Yeah. Well,
or do the verb, be the noun.
Catherine at university talked to this creative writing professor that I went to, and he gave the best advice that I thought was so snooty and dumb at the time. It was just like, oh, writers write.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great, thanks for that nugget. But
yeah.
no, it's true. Like, that's what defines you. If it's not like waiting around going, oh, I hope an idea comes today. Right. I'm gonna hit my bong really hard and eat lots of pizza, and that counts as thinking or whatever like that. It's like, no.
Is that what you were doing before?
And that was never. I'm not great on bongs. It hits me back too hard. Writer's right. Yeah, so it's doing the boring crap of just sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
Not trying to get the words out. The words come out.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of things like writer's block doesn't exist, and I understand that. It's like, yeah, just sit there and write.
Stuff. Anything.
The writer's block happens when you feel what you're doing is garbage and meaningless.
Right.
And then you get nervous and you don't want to fail.
You judge yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at saying, just shut up and write. Like, I'm very mean to myself, and that's how I work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my creative outlet, and then I'll allow it for other creative mediums too. So, like, if you're doing improv, then you're being an artist by being out there on the stage and improvising.
Yeah.
I had as soon as I started, I went and did the Humber comedy program, and Larry Horowitz, who was our stand-up comedy teacher, like, basically the first day of class was like, you're comedians now.
Yeah.
You've signed up for this thing. You do comedy. You know, like, great. Call yourself a comedian, because you won't. You'll
never feel like you are one.
Yeah. If you don't call yourself one.
Yeah.
So that was his thing. So as far as I'm concerned, I was like, that was when I became a comedian.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I hadn't even been on stage yet.
Right.
I'd done other kinds of things on stage. Like, I had done improv before. We didn't do a lot of improv at Humber. And I had done a dance for a long time. So I was already used to performing, but this was just it was yeah, now I'm a comedian.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's true. And I think it's also if I haven't done it in a while, like if I haven't improvised in a while or written,
awful?
I feel like shit.
Yeah. Do you get grumpy?
I get real, and I'm pissed. And then I'm doing this stand-up class, so I was working on a joke this morning, and I was getting no traction. And I was like, you have to do this for the next 40 minutes, just like how you're saying. I was like, just write stuff for 40 minutes, just get all the garbage out. And when I was done, I was like, wow, I feel better on a day where I had a shit writing experience than I have when I've had a fun day with no writing.
Yeah.
I
would rather, and then, so I feel like that's got to somehow come into the definition.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's doing the work, even though you're not on stage performing stand-up at that point.
Yeah.
You're writing, right? Writing is, you can't go up on stage if you don't have anything written.
Yeah. But the thing about...
you can wing it, but...
That's improv.
Yeah. The thing about writing versus improv that's crazy, in what I'm realizing in my experience, because I've only gotten into writing recently, and for years, when all my buddies were getting into sketch and stuff like that and stand up while doing improv, and I was just doing improv, I see now that it's even though in improv, and as a teacher, so much I've said to students, don't be afraid of failure. In writing, I'm really afraid of failing, because I'm I've crafted this, I've sat at home and I've shaped this, and I present this to you, and if you don't laugh,
that's me.
I'm gonna, and that's so many hours of work. But with improv, so much of it is adrenaline. Yeah. We could be backstage and be we don't feel like doing this. But as soon as it starts, you get this little jolt.
You get the immediate feedback.
Yeah.
You don't get that with writing.
You just soar energy-wise, because you're oh, we gotta make this work. Here we go.
And that's the difference between improv and stand-up too. You'll find as you do more performance too, is you'll get the rush when you're out there, but if you don't get the feedback, it's like,
yeah.
I guess with writing, you don't get that. All you get is radio silence.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get, oh no, your story sucks. You just don't hear back from people.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
So you get feedback, you have to submit it to other people.
Right.
I mean, like, if you have like an agent or something.
Oh yeah, I guess. Sorry, that's
too.
currently beyond me. I have something called a wife right now.
That, there you go.
Yeah.
Is she your agent?
No. She reads my stuff. Like, that's how I'm getting the feedback.
My favorite stories are about writers, like Stephen King and On Writing talks about how his wife is his first reader.
Yeah.
George Saunders in an interview with Seth Meyers. I've got to send you this. Have you seen him?
I haven't seen that yet.
But Seth Meyers and George Saunders just talk about... George Saunders said, when my wife's reading my work for the first time, when I walk into the room and she's reading it, I can tell by the way she's sitting if she likes it or not. Isn't that romantic? I love it so much.
I guess you know your partner that well.
Yeah.
I have to be out of the room.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't want to influence and like...
Yeah.
But it was good. Like, I give her earlier drafts than what I would produce. Just because, like, I can't read my writing as an outside person because I know all the machinery going on behind it.
Yeah.
So if I have another human read it, go, what does this mean? I was like, well, oh, you don't know that. Oh, that you don't know that because I didn't do my job right there. So like, good note. Yeah. And it's amazing how like it levels up your writing just having one person who isn't inside your brain.
Yeah.
And it probably gets better from that, but I haven't
she'll
reached
tell
out
you.
to more people.
Will she be like, I don't? Will she say if she doesn't like it?
Well, I've never written anything that bad. No, she won't.
Great.
She'll like, oh, it's more like she'll be nice about it. She's like, I don't understand this bit.
Oh, great.
Because we're on the same wavelength, and like, it'll get by the time she gets it, I've worked out the but like this is just crap.
Got it.
Oh, she read a first draft. That'd be embarrassing. It's like prelingual.
Right? Yeah.
Babbledy gum.
Yeah.
No, like I just finished my first draft for a short story a couple weeks ago. I'm like, this is fucking bad. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I just needed to hit my word count. No, that's not true. Kind of true. Yeah. I had all my beats, like all the things that I wanted to happen in my story. And I was like, just get those out, get them on the page. And it's like the fix it in post. Like that, it's a film thing,
right? Yeah.
So just get it on there, get it on film, and then you'll fix it in editing.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge help for me to get through any writer's block, just to get the first draft done.
Yeah.
And it's Hemingway's advice, Hemingway's advice is like, your job is to write a shitty first draft.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did it.
Anne Lamott has that too in Bird by Bird. Did you ever read that? It's great. It's a really great book. But I find anytime I meet anyone who's an athlete and they've become an artist, they always seem to get some track because they're used to
failure?
Like putting in
and they're like, it's shitty.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you feel like shit, but like they understand you've got to get to the other side of something.
Yeah, well, I mean, they know like you've got to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to to the pool every day or whatever.
Well,
right? Artists are kind of like,
Well, I've been watching figure skating a lot because it's currently the Olympics right now, and like the amount of like chucking people up in the air and doing spins. Like, how many times have you freaking killed yourself? Doing that?
Oh, my back.
Yeah, and you go back to it again and again.
Yeah. Especially the mixed, well, I guess it's only mixed doubles. Like when you're throwing another human up in the air, like, it's like, that's insane.
Yeah.
How do the women do that? Do they dress in full body armor until they start landing stuff?
No. They fall.
Well, I know they fall, but like, how protected do you?
I think they teach you how to fall properly.
You're landing on wet cement, basically.
Yeah, but you have parts of your body that are better at landing
than
bomb. Others. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a figure skater.
I don't know how they do it. I slip and fall on the sidewalk, and I'm like, oh my god, something's been taken from me. Yeah.
Triple SoCal.
I just left some innocence here. Getting up.
Why? So how come you decided to do stand up? Was it just like, I want to expand my portfolio? Or
yeah, I when I was I just was like, I gotta get into writing. When I would around this time last year, I was going through some medical stuff and I wasn't feeling well, and that really made things clarify. Where I was like, what do I want out of life? And it was like you ask that and like nothing really comes back to you. But at that point, I asked, and like a list came. And but one of those things was writing. And at one point, I wasn't feeling well. My parents were there. We were watching a movie, and it was Trumbo with Bryan Cranston. Trumbo.
Yeah.
And there's this montage where he's just like writing everywhere. He's writing with his typewriter in the bath. He's writing, in the garden. He's writing, smoking a cigar. And I was like, that looks great.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what I want. I want to do.
Writer movies always do it for me.
What's that?
Every writer's movie ever. I'm just like...
Oh, it was terrible. But there was something in the montage that I was like, yeah.
I wish you could bring your laptop in the bathtub. I get so much stuff done.
Good.
I know.
You gotta be super careful.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
A large Ziploc bag.
Yeah. So then I just was like, okay, so what are the writing things you want to do? And I always wanted to take Dawn's stand-up class.
She's great.
Oh my God, she doesn't take any shit. She's like, no, like people start asking her, and she's like, no, listen to what I'm saying. I wish I was like that.
So, but now, like, if you're like, she took, this idea of like teaching stand-up to just women to help sort of empower more women to get up on stages, because these stages were so heavily dominated by men.
Yeah.
You see that being your calling for improv now, that with the new thing that you
I would like to always have a monthly workshop where women can just come, and there's kind of half an hour where it's like, this is what happened to me, it happened to me, and then we figure out ways to work on that for sure, to strategize of what to do, and I'd like to build that. I'd also like to do it for women in business, like anywhere where there's women who feel like they don't have much of a voice. Someone was telling me, a social worker was telling me, she'd heard of people doing a workshop for women who were about to go through trial. They'd experienced domestic abuse.
Okay.
But as trial prep, they were doing improv classes.
Yeah, sure. Any reason to get in front of other people and express yourself.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, you don't know what you're going to be pulled in, and how do you stay in yourself and present.
Makes sense. It's good for job interviews. It's good for being on trial is scary. I did it once. I witnessed a drunk driver thing, and I had to testify in court. And like, they're doing everything to get you to like doubt yourself. Yeah. Which is like crazy. That's unlike anything else. Like even like an improv class, that doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's what you saw? You're sure it was that time? Like like 100%.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's not built towards women in our society at all. It's just like, I just fucking said it. Oh, a man said it.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
It would be really helpful for women in the office, because So I was just talking to a lady in one of my classes who was like at work, and she was just like, we talked about, in improv, we were talking about the idea of like matching, like energy matching and that kind of stuff. And she noticed that, which was interesting. She was noticed that everybody was kind of following each other's like energy in a meeting. So she took it up, like she decided to like calm her tone down very quietly. And they did, and they so she was able to like manipulate the energy in this office that was like, I don't know if it was like intense or whatever.
Brilliant.
But I'm like, that's so cool. And this lady in her like, I don't know, like early 50s, and I'm like, you're crushing it at 50, girl. Like, wait, stuff that you wouldn't normally think about, but then you discover this kind of little tip or hint in an improv class, and you're like, oh great, I've navigated this thing in my professional life now.
That how it affects your real life, how improv affects people's real life, I'm always very curious about that.
I want to be like, go back out into the world and report back to me about how these things
I might introduce improv at my work just so I can get it on my PPR, because this sounds like a slam dunk.
What's a personal performance?
Yeah, like you have to do like what additional shit have you done than just pushing numbers all day?
Yeah, why the fuck don't you take improv? I've been telling you this.
No, I don't want to do improv. I'm thinking we could do it for people at work.
Oh, can you
and then I could. I mean, I would. Yeah. Especially right now, like.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my manager, talk to HR.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because
we get Toastmasters.
Oh yeah. See, and there is a class on public speaking here.
Yeah.
I've had people who have taken Toastmasters in improv classes who are still very rigid and very like.
Toastmasters is speech specific. Yeah. You're not like using your body.
Yeah, but it's amazing
and showing that the field goal counted.
But
which is my
it's amazing how more field goal stuff helps you. Like. I think it's like the idea of feeling comfortable doing stupid shit in front of people.
It's like play.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're able to do something really stupid in front of a group of strangers, then how much more prepared are you to do something really smart in front of a group of people? You know?
Yeah.
And if you're not afraid of getting to the dumb ideas out first, then that's the good ones are behind there somewhere.
And a lot of women it's just like they feel like they can't speak up. Or they're spoken over all the time.
Yeah,
so even just different ways of just like, just fucking say it.
And just change.
He didn't hear you. Say it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned briefly that you weren't well last year.
Right.
I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
I'm happy to talk about it. But I'm always like, we're just going to freak people out.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty struggling.
So what happened?
I was diagnosed with Hogkin's lymphoma, so like cancer of the lymph node.
Okay, what's the lymph node?
They're like it's a system in your body that cleans the blood.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was the thing that made white blood cells.
Which isn't that the clean? Aren't they the good blood cells?
Oh my god, I'm so confused.
I think we're talking about
the liver cleaned the blood.
No, the liver cleans the digestive-y stuff, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure the lymph nodes are blood related.
Okay.
I think.
I'm not arguing. I'm just confused.
No, and like I wasn't one of those types of patients that was like, I'm gonna learn everything there is to know about it. I kind of was like, I'll take the information.
I know Lemieux got a lymph node cancer. Mario Lemieux, hockey player.
Oh yeah.
And I remember thinking like whatever he had is the one that people survive from.
It's a if you I
There's
always
like
say
one that's non-Hodgkin's.
That one's scary to get.
All right.
Non-Hodgkin, and then I always say if you had to pick
your cancer,
this would be one you might pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you just went to the doctor? Were you not feeling well? Or?
Yeah, I had a swollen lymph node, and
but did you like what?
It's a big,
you could kind of feel it. Around your around my collarbone, and I was, and then I was like, just getting tired. But I thought that was just midlife.
Yeah.
You just. I felt healthy otherwise, but then I went in because of the lymph node, and they were like, "Oh yeah, something crazy's happening to you."
They said,
and it was the night.
Super swollen, like really, really big or tough, or
it was not super big, but it was
like different, noticeably different.
Yeah. And then, and it was the night of the American election, actually.
Oh, man.
I saw my GP, and she was like, you've got to get down to the hospital right now. You've got to get a scan. So I went, and I was in this tiny waiting room, and there was a humongous TV on the wall on CNN. And they were just like, the whole world was shifting. For me, the same. All this stuff was just going crazy.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you discovered you had cancer, America discovered they elected cancer.
Yeah, exactly. And I just was like, what is this evil tonight we're experiencing together? Yeah, so that was wild. And then improv in that,
you're in an elevator.
Yeah. A friend of mine wanted to keep doing the duo, the improv tournament. At Social Capital, and I was like, okay, like it was like this big deal for me to kind of get out of the house, but I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I got my first laugh during that show, like you don't feel great, and then people laughed at something I said, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot how awesome this feels. Like it was tremendous. It was good. So that's what I mean about improv, not like you don't get paid for it, but like it has just come into my, like, at crazy points in my life, I've been able to turn to improv, and it's like fueled me in a certain way, and reminded me that I'm an artist, and reminded me why I'm here.
Yeah.
That I just value so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Why you're here.
Yeah, while you're here. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember we had a super fun, there was like a big fundraiser show for you that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Did you, like, I was like, somewhere she's streaming this live. Were you, or?
I didn't see it, no,
Okay.
but it was nuts. I started chemo the next day.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
That night.
It was such a magical show.
Yeah, it was wild.
And everything, went well? Did you have you had a good support system?
Yeah, my parents came up from Brunswick, and we were able to stay in my uncle's house. And
nice.
Yeah, it went very smoothly, luckily.
That's great.
Yeah, it was tremendous. It was crazy.
And you took a little break, improv wise.
Yeah, I did. About 6 months or so.
I guess because you were
probably break from everything.
I was just so tired. Yeah, it was very tiring. I just I kept a journal.
Oh, nice.
And this morning I will peek back like what was happening this time this year, and in my journal I had written, I'm so tired. I feel folded in on myself like a pair of pants.
Wow. Pretty tired.
Deep.
Yeah, I was, and then the next line was, my mind is like an abandoned amusement park.
Whoa.
Man, have you considered poetry? Like writing poetry?
It was that, well, I think when something crazy's happening to you, like, in your, like, life is in the balance, you suddenly, everything is so clear. Like, what you want, what people should stop worrying about. And so that kind of has fueled me too with improv. Like, that's why now in a lot of my classes, I'm always saying, what do you like?
Yeah.
What do you want? Hoping in that way that if the students are focusing on that in their work, then in real life, that antenna will still be active.
The amount of times I have to ask myself that, like,
it
seems like there was never a thing when you're a kid, right? You
No.
just like what you like. It's like, I'm gonna go watch Star Wars now, or
Right.
Yeah.
play baseball.
Yeah.
You liked baseball and architecture.
Still do.
Legos.
Yeah, but it's funny with, like, now that you're a grown up, you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? Oh, I guess I'll go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, Twitter's social media is weird though, because that's like weirdly addictive. So it's not even you don't even like it. You're just like drawn to it.
Yeah.
For me, it's my times. Like, if I'm sitting around waiting to take a kid to something,
Right.
I'll just do that. But I'm like, no, this is a time suck. So I need to put a book in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And carry that and read.
Can you get like
a Kindle or like.
Or even your phone, you should be able to get books.
Yeah, I like a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, I like books too. I prefer.
I do too.
Yeah.
We're all old people here.
Yeah.
No, not me.
Yeah. My dad likes reading on his iPad though, because he's like, I can read at night. It's like the lights inside the book. It's great.
I think
he's not wrong.
I think after a certain point, you like it because you can like change the font size too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Catherine's all over it. She's a voracious reader, so maybe that's it. Like, you don't have to wait to buy another book or go to another room to get it. It's just right there.
It's right there.
But I'm super slow at reading. So I like holding the thing and turning pages.
Yeah, me too.
And then you can feel how accomplished you are getting through the books.
I still have a highlighter in a lot of books too, that I'll be like, oh, this is important.
Yeah.
I'm bad with that because half the book would be highlighted.
This is all important.
I tried it with Stephen King's on writing, and I'm just like, well, what's the point?
This whole thing is highlighted.
Yeah, that book was so great.
You've been talking about it like a bunch.
Such a weird read, because the first half, or the first bit where he's talking about himself, it's like, this is all terrifying, and now I completely understand you.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I'm not Stephen King. I didn't have to go through this as a young person.
Exactly. Yeah.
The bit about the cinder block on the toes is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to now.
Yeah, and it's Stephen King, so it's fine.
That's amazing. So was the
6 months of horribleness,
6 months of misery,
and amazing poetry,
and then some really deep...
that I'm like, can I get back to that? Or
And so, what do you have, like? I don't know. I mean, this sounds so corny to be like advice to anybody who's going through something like that, or
I don't know. It's something that really helped me actually was reading. Like, I guess if there's anything you can do to pass the time, I don't know. I think everyone kind of is on their own.
Right.
Their own. You just, it's like your path in life sort of veers off from everybody else.
Well, a pit stop. Like in a race, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You
or like
to,
an off.
You have to pull off. You
Yeah.
don't get to have fun. Hope your tires inflate.
Yeah. Because even you, like, I was with my parents, like I was with people, but it is still like
everyone else
you're
has
the
to
only
have their
one,
life.
and
like,
you're the only one going through it, and
Yeah.
you're being watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why that improv show, that first one back, was so meaningful, because I think it's a thing where in yourself you have this little. There's something happening in the scene. You're at a cafe and you're like, you see this thing about a cappuccino and you're like, I'm going to reveal this thing about the cappuccino to the audience. And you reveal it and they react and connect with it. So I think it was such a visceral thing where I almost felt like new again. Like it felt like my first laugh because the audience was connecting with me in that way.
Yeah,
well, and I was in such an isolated place.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you just said you was like you were the only person going through it, and then now all of a sudden you're reconnecting to the collective
community.
Yeah.
That's some pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, and you're just like a cancer patient. Like you're thinking about it all the time. I was thinking about it all the time.
Ugh.
Anyone that saw me was thinking about it. You know, like, how are you doing? So I think the show was great as well because I was a comedian.
Yeah, you're back to.
I could just be a comedian in that moment. It's so good. It's like the beach.
I remember the whole time being like, can't wait for her to get better. I need to book her on more shows.
Yeah, thank God.
And do you I mean, like, it sounds silly, but do you think like improv and the attitude that you have towards improv is that did that help you?
Yeah. All that say yes stuff. Like,
do you want chemotherapy?
Yeah,
Yes, and
I just was like, all right.
Yeah, like let's do it.
Let's go with it. Yeah, and just trust.
Yeah,
and like being okay in the unknown.
Yeah,
was
that's.
I couldn't get over it. How all that stuff we talk about like, in that dark time was like the rule.
All right, no, flag and play.
What?
This is super culty now.
It is culty. It is.
You used more improv stuff in your day to day, Nick.
Why? Because I did the flag and play. No,
we're gonna bring it to your office.
It would help. It would probably cheer up a lot of people.
I bet even for like parents, this is gonna sound crazy, but like the amount of times that I just like I'm walking down the street or whatever and I hear a kid, and I know kids are always gonna be like, Mom, I want this. Mom, I want that. Dad, I want this, or whatever, and the parents are just like, no. At a certain point, it's like, how much have you tuned out of what your kid is like telling you because they're very
you kind of have to.
I realize
because it's constant, right? So like you'll be driving the car and like, oh, what happens with this? Like,
yeah.
So you gotta.
But it's
you have to tune them out a little bit.
Yeah, but at what point does that take over too much and you stop?
Yeah, that's called parenting. Like,
well, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe
it's a spectrum of getting it right. Like if you overparent, then this kid's gonna grow up thinking everything they say is gonna be listened to and taken at value. And once they go to deal with the government at all ever, they're gonna learn that that's not the case.
Right. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum,
then you have comedians. So I threw the wrench in the thing.
Was it a flag or a wrench?
The wrench flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point about how improv was helping you in the day to day. That's something that's a for sure true thing. Like it's so it's. I called it a cult. It's probably more of a philosophy almost.
Yeah.
Something you could apply to your everyday life.
Yeah. And I think too, another thing that I value about the improv training that helped me in that situation was like, rather than speed up, like slow down and be in the moment.
Whoa, the moment. That's a huge thing with that meditation and stuff.
Yeah.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. So this that stuff's been part of improv.
Like, we never got taught any of that. It's something you got to stumble across and learn from somewhere.
Yeah, it wasn't the kind of thing that was taught in school. Nobody thinks that's important in school.
I think it's sneaking in there because I remember hearing the kids doing yoga or something. So you're going to get mindfulness there.
Could you imagine, like, like our parents, if we went home and told the parents that we were doing yoga in class, they'd be like, what is this Eastern religion coming into my...
Yeah.
Namaste, Mom.
Yeah.
But I guess yoga's also, like, just really good, like, physically, for your body. It's really good,
So is improv, if you're...
Yeah, that's true. You're very physical.
Yeah. But it is crazy to think, like, when we were kids, they just were like, okay, you know what? We're not going to smoke in bars anymore. And everyone was like,
healthy!
This is insane. Everyone was so
People
mad.
were so pissed.
Yeah, like that's what was going on when we were young.
Yeah.
And now they're doing yoga. It's great.
Man. This is like this encouragement of like healthy.
Not killing
yourself on a daily basis. Mm-hmm.
Not dying at 50.
He
had a good run.
I was at
he smoked so much.
Earlier.
Yeah, he was a man. He ate cheeseburgers. That's how we knew.
That's what it means to be a man.
He's gonna turn into that sketch. Bill Bradley. No.
Bill Brasky. Bill Brasky was a son of a bitch. Such a great episode of our lives. Now that you're like back into it and your health is back.
Yeah.
You were able to miss a lot of the Trump stuff, probably.
Yeah. No, it was like I would watch it on the news. I would watch the news every morning.
Bummer.
So it was like I wrote something about it in my journal. I can't remember what it was that I wrote, but yeah, it was weird. Oh, like it's funny to read my journal from that time and be like, Trump said this and it was outrageous.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, like this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing.
What a disaster. Now, like, you're like, okay, so I saw things so clearly. So what are you doing now to sort of go out and live that clarity?
I'm trying to, I'm wondering about starting my own business. I don't know what exactly it'll be, but I want to do some sort of entrepreneurial thing.
No. I want to write
because I think that was something that was wearing me out. Like we were talking about earlier, is that like gap in money, like always trying to get a job.
Yeah.
So is there some way that I can sort of make money for myself? Yeah. I always wanted a boss before.
That's weird. That's so weirdly specific.
Yeah. Well, I always wanted. I think before I had cancer, I was very much like, what should I do? What am I supposed to do? And after going through treatment, where it was like the pressure's on me, I am now very comfortable like spending time alone. That was something about writing too, was like I think I didn't want to write because I was like, well, what other people want? What's the group gonna do? I wanted to collaborate. Now I'm like,
I love the time alone. That might be
me too. But I'm really
so quiet here.
Yeah, and now I just have this space to like create and go into my imagination.
Have you written in public? That's nice too. Like if you go to
a
chain coffee shop.
Or
right? It's so
no,
great.
it has to be a chain.
Or an independent coffee shop.
Nope.
He wants you to go to Starbucks.
Starbucks.
As long as they're Seattle based.
Seattle based.
Isn't there like a Seattle's best coffee company?
I mean, you could go there too.
Yeah.
There is.
And focusing on writing, and then also just like relationships have suddenly changed where it's just something automatic where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm getting love and connection from this person. I'm gonna try to see them again.
Oh, nice.
And like other relationships where I think I was just trying to please.
Yeah.
I just suddenly have kind of become distant from those people. If any of my friends are listening and I haven't heard from you for a while, as I'm also bad, I'm very slow to respond to messages, as you know. But I just think my relationships and my connections became really important. And rather than trying to please people, I'm much more interested in how do I make myself happy.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and then I think before I was sick, I thought giving myself attention and that kind of focus was selfish. And now I kind of see that when I keep that, can kind of keep giving myself love and that kind of thing, I actually do better as an improv instructor, and I'm actually more present for my students.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, you're going to be feeling better as a human.
Yeah,
so
and I have
you'll
more
be able to be nicer to others.
Yeah.
And more, were you going to say more energy or more?
Or I have more to offer.
More to offer, okay, yeah.
Like, from a perspective.
Like, the idea of, like, treating yourself used to seem so, like, guilt-inducing.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if that's, like, okay, I'm for sure going to be like, well, it's because we were raised Catholic.
Yeah. And my dad was raised Catholic. I've said stuff with my Catholic friends.
Skipped a generation.
Well, but the guilt stays. My friends have been like, no, that's Catholic guilt. That's what you've got. I'm like, oh my God.
Passed it down to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the idea of like doing something that's good for yourself. Like I think for like the previous generations used to be like, no, I can't do that. Like,
no, you have to put everyone else first.
Exactly. Yeah. But now it's like if you put everybody else first, then there's not going to be enough you left to help the other people.
Yeah,
or to be there for the other people.
Yeah.
But where I'm from, that's lauded.
Yeah.
Like and I tease my mom about it. Like she'll be like, well, I'll do da da da, and I'll go murder, because it's like that, and I catch it in myself still. So it is this thing of like, if I give over everything I've got and there's nothing left, then I've done my job.
Right.
So
but then it's like, but then you have nothing left for yourself.
Yeah. And I find we celebrate people who go for it. You know what I mean?
I have a friend who's like, he spends so much time talking about how little sleep he gets because of like he's doing his PhD and stuff. He's like, I never sleep, and he's always like bragging about it.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
I'm not impressed by that. Like,
no,
that's why
your hormones are going to be messed.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's probably why we haven't spoken in such a long time. That's why, you know, like, I don't know, like I've lost touch with him over the years because we don't live in the same city anymore. But like,
hilarious. When the kids were babies and stuff, the amount of like lack of sleep. And, it's just. I would never brag about it.
Yeah, and that was like there was in university. There was always people who were like, "Oh, I pulled another all-nighter," and like I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Time out on that one though. Like in university, people are done. You're like your early 20s.
True.
You're not a fully grown human.
But
yet,
if it continues, it's true. If it continues, like I know somebody now who I worked on a project with them, and they were like,
"That's not
that was like it was just like a weekend," and she was so like. She's like, well, I'm in charge, and that means I don't get to sleep. And it's like, what? Nobody's forcing you to be awake right now. It's not like the army, you know? Like, it's not like if you go to bed, like, the whole city's gonna fall or something.
Yeah,
you know? You'll just wake up and pick it up from where you left off.
Yeah.
I just think, so, like, a lot of people either themselves, and then that person ends up getting like a ton of the attention. Well, she worked so hard. And it's like, because you didn't discourage her from it.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh well, she's gonna do her. You know, it's like, no, let the fucking woman go to bed. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting worked up here.
Yeah.
Everybody go to bed.
Go to bed. But it is true. There is a thing of like someone who has these high expectations like that, and then is like meeting them. And you're like, is this really what you want?
Yeah. And those people end up giving themselves heart attacks at super young. What was there, like that kid? There's like a kid who's like in his 20s in China or Japan or something.
Oh, some of those kids died from not going to the bathroom because they're playing video games too long.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's different though, because that's a video game.
Yeah.
I go to the bathroom. They just go to the bathroom.
No, you're in the middle of a raid or whatever.
Anyway, Nick, you wrote something.
Yeah, no. When you're talking about your that clarity you got.
Yeah.
Now that you're well again physically, how do you get back to that clarity, or can you?
It's tough. It's weird. Right? I feel like I was like a weird oracle, and now I'm like, what did I do? What? So, but I think it comes and goes. But it always kind of comes back. Like, I think I would get the blues before I got sick. I kind of had the blues all the time, and then would get these little lifts and go back to the blues. And now it's the opposite, where it's more like a trampoline. Like, I will go down, but then something sort of springs me back.
You're chumbawambaing right back up.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a verb.
Yeah. It's nice to have connections with other people who have had cancer. I have one friend, she's an artist, and I go to her and I'm like, I'm worried about blah, blah, blah. And she's like, it's gonna be fine. Like, she just lays it all out in a great way. So that's really...
Yeah, it's another important connection.
Yeah.
You probably met a whole bunch of new people too, going through like chemo and everything. And
yes.
meeting,
Yeah.
A bunch of people going through a bunch of stuff.
You do. You don't. It's funny in waiting rooms and stuff like that. When you're in treatment, people don't talk that much. It's very
I guess
conservative. Everyone's conserving energy, I guess.
Toronto there's that too. And it sucks. You're not there for happy fun times.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna have to get this horrible thing injected in me so I don't die from this other horrible thing.
Yeah. It's also like cultural though. Like when I was in France, I went to the doctor's office and everybody was like,
"Here's some wine."
No,
what?
Where
did that come from?
About 3 bottles. But no, they're like, "Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour," and then they would sit down. Like
the person saying that was
the person who just
coming in for treatment would say
exactly.
Like we're all in here together.
God,
let's
you know
have
what?
a moment.
But even like
that's
if you
a
walk
moment to see community again because you're not just locked in your bed.
But that's France. Like that's if you walk into an elevator. That's if you walk into a restaurant. That's if you walk like everywhere.
Oh, that's great for people with anxiety.
But if you're forced to do it from a young age,
you're fine with it.
Yeah. Right. Like I remember once I got to work early and I was I got to work late. I never got to work early. And I was like running to the tunnels to unlock it. No, but I didn't say it. And the guy gave me like a stink eye and he was like, bonjour. Like, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, because it's such a customary thing that and then I would say it's like an insult. It's like a smack in the face. And I was like, bonjour.
Wow.
But but Toronto, that's why I'm just like, Toronto. People are probably like,
Toronto's got like for how busy this city is. When I walk home from work, sometimes it's like it's so quiet. Like you'll hear one car beep on the Gardiner.
Yeah.
And like thousands of people on the street, super quiet. It's like an outdoor library.
Right? Yeah, it's true.
And I love it. I'm all for it.
That's the case in Thorold. My bong resin I have a crazy neighbor. Like a 17-year-old neighbor who's like turbo hormonal. He
very protective about his bong.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't wash it for the 3rd time, and now you can't use it anymore. I'm like, oh, I'm writing this into a something.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. The strict stoner. I told you.
I forbid you from ever using this.
There's Dorito dust everywhere.
Do you have any other questions on your yellow pad of destiny?
Well, I wrote treatment and then forgot what that point was. And then the other thing was intentionality. And I think you talked about reaching out to your friends and stuff. Yeah. I've had that recently. We went on a guy's trip to Montreal. And it's just funny how, like, when you're a teenager, you're just on your phone all the time with your peeps. But now that we're grown up, you have to make time and physically do the things and to mentally remember to call them every once in a while like that. It's just It seems like such a hassle on the one hand because it's not automatic anymore, but it's the idea of intentionality. It's you're looking at things that you want in your life. And then going, well,
I have to make this happen.
I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
Instead of going on Twitter for 30 hours.
I think that's what's different is when before treatment, if I had the blues, I would be like, that's just what life is. Yeah. Like that life is a force that's like pushing me down. But now when I have the blues, I kind of go, what's missing?
Oh, I can stand up right now.
Yeah, I can stand up. Or like, is it going for a walk? Is it like connecting with somebody or whatever?
Yeah. You're calling it the blues. Are we talking just like general
general depression,
like clinical depression,
not clinical.
Okay, because that's a whole other thing we get into. Yeah.
Not lately. I went to therapy a while ago, and
that feels
the blues kind of went away
after therapy.
Well, I figured out what was
bluesing you.
Yeah, bluesing me, kind of.
But you're blues.
Sorry. Yeah. Well.
I don't like it wasn't diagnosed or anything, but. I also think there's a little part. I don't think all artists get depressed, but I think there's a little part of artists that are like humanity and
that spark of madness.
Yeah,
that keeps us.
There's that. I think it's a sensitivity that you need to have as an artist because for visual art, I think about it for like photography, cinematography, like people who shoot beautiful things.
Yeah.
It's because they've noticed it.
Yeah.
Like I'll take pictures sometimes on my phone, and Catherine's like, "You do such good shots." It's like, but yeah, because that's really pretty. What do you mean? Like this is easy. You just have to point something at it.
She's like, I'm too busy.
Yeah, I'm too busy raising your stupid children.
Like, it'll be fine. Ooh,
little note,
maybe
don't call them stupid to their faces, but look at the tree.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid tree, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, well, someone's knocked out the artistic bug. Have fun being happy in life.
But that's exact
and then the sensitivity is you notice everything wrong in the world.
Yeah, or it's like, how come we aren't paying more attention to how people are doing?
Right.
But it's that sensitivity that like makes an improv show so fun to perform. It's because you're like the sensitivity you have when you walk into a room and you're like, oh, everyone's sad here, or everyone.
Yeah, you can feel that energy.
Yeah,
oh,
and then in improv, you actually are using that as a tool.
You're manipulating it to get people happy again.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It is. Yeah.
It's the same with stand-up. That's the thing with like, I think improv is so much better than stand-up to achieve that. Because if a stand-up comedian walks into a room. Sounds like this.
Wait, I know this one.
Yeah. And like the energy is very negative. I've seen it so often. Like, well, I guess I should say a bad stand-up comedian will just like bring it even low. You know what I mean? They'll take that as like, instead of taking the responsibility of being like, it's my job to bring this up. Yeah. It'll just be like, well, what's wrong with you then? And just like dig deeper and deeper.
Early Marion said.
Yeah, he's angry. He's got a lot of anger. Well, maybe not so much.
No. Early Marion says.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it used to be.
Was it funny though? I guess if
not
it's
the
funny.
way he would describe it. He was like, I've crushed a lot of audiences.
Nice.
Like, not in a good way.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, but the sensitivity as well is you have access to knowing stuff about human nature that you could say out and that translates to universal things. Like details of like your daily work or going on a specific websites every day at certain times, and you say that people in the crowd will go, oh yeah, that's like me, and becoming aware of the tiny things.
Yeah, that was something that cancer sort of alerted me to as well. Is like I had never had an experience before where I was like, oh, I've got to like, I'm fighting for my life. Like I hadn't ever like felt my life as a thing that I had to protect and like focus on.
Yeah.
But then when as I did, I was like, oh, everyone's got that.
Yeah.
Like people often say to people who have had cancer, who are going through cancer, they'll be like, you're my heroes, you're a survivor. I can't imagine going through what you've gone through. But everyone has that want that like to survive and keep going.
Yeah.
And that I don't know, like, so that experience in combination with that artistic sensitivity was really valuable. Yeah. Just the way I look at other people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's like global, like that's everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nuts, man.
Sweet. That's incredible.
That's a really good way to end it right there. How are we for time?
we got enough time.
That's... Good night, everybody. Look out for each other. Yeah. We all have our lives in our hands. Be careful.
Yeah. And see some comedy.
Yeah, go see Jess Grant and some comedy.
Yeah, big laughs and farts and boobs.
Yay, farts and
blowjobs.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
Struggle
on.
You want to say struggle on?
Struggle on.
Yeah.
You must.
I've always loved you.